awesome. Thanks.
All right. Well, it is 7:31, so we're going to go ahead and get things started. So I'm going to share my screen. And you will see that was the cake is a lie that I was looking at there. And we're going to start with the ringing of the bell. Okay, that makes this meeting official. And next we have the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance. So if I could ask, let's have Lee lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sorry, I had to unmute you. I had you all muted. Okay. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. And everyone needs to remind me that I need to pause this one because otherwise music comes up afterwards. And last, but by no means least, the four-way test. Tom, if I could, you just picked up your coffee cup, but I'm going to ask you to lead us in the four-way test.
Then I guess I'll have to unmute. All right, the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build
goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all
concerned? And number 5, have
fun.
Have fun. So we are going to do some having fun, by the way. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first of all, we have a guest. So Jonathan, if I could ask you to introduce your guest. And I'm not talking about your dog that just showed up.
This is Kita. Guys, we have Joycelyn joining us on the call today. So she is a realtor and works for Coldwell Banker Island Properties. And actually, she had wanted to come and join us a while back, but I hadn't been able to get her on. So I'm super excited that she's here. And she's prepared a 5-minute speech for all of us.
I have not. But I'm glad to be here as well.
She did prepare
finally make it,
us,
even
though.
if it's with Zoom.
Yeah. Joycelyn
nice.
did prepare something else for us. She prepared our incoming new member because she is Waylon's mother. Sorry, Joycelyn. You want to say hey?
That's who I am.
Hey, well, welcome. We're glad you were able to join us, and we look forward to continued joinings. So we have Cyrus too, who's not a guest, but hey, Cyrus, welcome. And DJ, who is a guest. How old is DJ nowadays?
Morning. He's gonna be 18 months next week.
Wow.
Morning,
hey, boy.
DJ. Yeah, we all have our coffee. He has his bottle, but I like his bottle a little better. So let's welcome Joycelyn with Great Big Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. Aloha. Yeah, it's much better when we're all in person, but you know. Okay, let's do some happy bucks. Who out there is happy? And remember, you can donate from the donate button on our website.
I'm happy. I got to this Saturday. I went, we went to Japanese Grandma's Cafe. She did omakase dinner, which was super awesome. We had 6 courses, and yeah, it was a really good time. So
very good.
It was nice to get out and have a nice dinner.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I'm happy.
Go for it.
Well, I'm real happy. Actually, I have a brand new listing, if you guys haven't heard about it, and it's 28 acres in Lawai. And super special spot. I feel so fortunate that we were able to get the listing. And so every day, it's just making me happy because I'm talking to a lot of different people and all over the place. So it's kind of cool. It's our second listing. And I just feel like in the last month, we have been blessed. So super happy.
Wonderful. Congrats. That's awesome. Anyone else? Happy, happy, happy. I'm going to go with happy because the one thing that I've noticed this probably the last 2 weeks or so, as many of you know, I tend to get up a little earlier than a lot of people, but the sunrises have been just amazing the last couple of weeks. And there was one day I got up and looking towards the east here, it was like 3 dots of just vibrant orange and all the clouds and everything. And it could be from the wildfires in California. We know that's why the sunsets have been really pretty, but you know what? We're gonna take it, it's still pretty. Craig, were you? Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy. So we got a notice from the district that we needed to send in a most important or memorable Rotary project from our club for the Centennial Park coming in Waikiki. So being one of the older timer members, I took it upon myself to think of something, and I came up with our Koloa Rescue Craft Facility. So for those of you who haven't been around that long, when DQ Jackson was president, it was our centennial year, and he organized fundraising, construction, and work project for us to build the jet ski maintenance and storage facility building at Koloa Fire Station. So if you look at the fire station, it's on the left side setback. And I think it was close to $100,000. Mike Curtis, he might know the dollar amount better, but it was a big deal. We got Kukui'ula to donate a bunch of money with us, and to think about that project and all the other things that we've done. You know, our club has done a lot for the community, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for taking that on. Centennial Park, in case y'all don't know this, is a park that has been built right in downtown Waikiki. One of the times that I was there over in Honolulu last year, a member of another club tried to take me there, but we managed to get dramatically lost. It just didn't work. But what she has told me was that if you leave the Royal Hawaiian and just keep going inland, you will come to Centennial Park. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a park in the center of Honolulu, and it was put together by several of the Rotary clubs in the area. And it has recently coming to completion. It's a really cool spot, and I mean, I think it's also going to literally be a cool spot in the center of Waikiki, which will be really nice. And yeah, they're going to feature every Rotary club in the district in a little story that runs through the park. So we will be mentioned there. So thanks, Greg, for putting that all together. It's really cool. And I think a project like that in a high visibility location is also a really nice feature. Anyone else happy? Waylon, hi.
Good morning.
We have this guest, by the way.
How's everybody going?
Hi, Waylon.
Howdy. So we have this woman, Joycelyn, who joined us too. Today.
I was just gonna say, you guys got too many family members on one group.
That makes them lucky, right?
Yeah, very lucky.
There you go. Very lucky. Very cool. All right. I do want to just do. Oh, well, speak up, mister.
I'm happy because we had a Rotary connection on the last few days that David Dinner from the Hanalei Club reached out and said he had an older friend in Kalaheo who needed some assistance. And I put out the call to our club, and right away 4 people replied and said I can help. So I'm happy for a club that jumps in and gets things done. Thank you.
Yeah. And that was a help with hauling some green waste away. And as we all know, it's an ongoing issue here. You never stop with the green waste. So having a way to get rid of it is really nice, and helping out someone who was unable to do it herself is really great. And I know I talked, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about the folks, they actually got our contact information from someone at Safeway, was the way they put it, Tom. I don't know whether it was you or Mary. but it was a woman who she and her elderly mother live in Wailoa Homesteads and needed some help with grocery delivery. And I reached out to the Kapa'a Club, and Jackie Nelson up there said, yeah, absolutely. They live close by. I'll get the groceries, I'll deliver them, no worries. It's nice to know that we can rely on that network to make things like this happen. So quite nice. Okay, before I move on, anyone else happy? Ron's just laughing at me. He's just mocking. Okay, a couple announcements. First of all, as you know, and there's the Happy Bucks donation link is now in the chat window. As you know, we have a month here in September that has 5 Wednesdays. And anytime we have 5 Wednesdays, we only meet second, third, and fourth Wednesdays. So on the 5th Wednesday, we try to do a vocational day where we go to learn about someone's business. In a lot of cases, we've physically gone to the business. You know, that is not something that we're really going to be able to do in the near term. But we're working with a new store at Warehouse 3540 called Hawaii Stays Hawaii, and getting the folks who own and manage that to come and talk to the club about what it is that they do and all. And there's actually a little bit more going on with Warehouse 3540, but I will come back to that in a moment. And then on the first week of every month, we normally had our Pauhana on the Thursday evening. And we are going to have an in-person, socially distanced, mask-wearing Pauhana on October 1st? No, October 8th. Craig must be freaking out. October 8th. Thank you. And we're going to have it at Amaze, which is Marcy's restaurant location in Hanapepe. So there is some information on the calendar there. We're actually asking for signups because, of course, Marcy needs to have an idea of how many people to cook food for. And you know Marcy, if you tell her to cook food for 20, she's going to cook for 40. So it's all good. But we will certainly not go away hungry. And also, y'all know Marcy, so I think we'll definitely engage in number 5, which is have fun. And we'll have a good time hanging out with Marcy and the crew there.
So that one is, she has no liquor license, so it'll be BYOB.
Thank you. So we had a board meeting last Wednesday, and we came up with several different things that we're proposing and things that we're putting out and everything. Some of you may recall a few weeks back, we had 2 women from Aloha Publishing who spoke to us about a series of books that they've created that are about Hawaiian culture, and they're kind of workbooks that kids can work through. And one of their tasks was to get those books into the hands of every elementary student in the county. And they put forth a proposal to us with the number of kids in each grade at Kalaheo School. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. Of course, Rotary is known for doing the dictionary distribution to the 3rd grades in all of the elementary schools on island. And one of the things that we've heard from Kristen, who her daughter Hannah is now in the 3rd grade at Kalaheo School, is that the kids are all told, use an online dictionary. So we said, well, we have monies that have been allocated to this dictionary project. So what we decided to do was to allocate those to the Aloha Books project. And we had to add a little bit of money to it, but we actually are doing okay, even though we haven't had a major fundraiser yet. And we're going to purchase the Aloha Publishing books for all of the students in the 3rd grade at Kalaheo Elementary. We've contacted the folks there. They're very excited about this. And the other thing that we're going to be doing, again, with the dictionaries, you might recall the book plate that went in that said that this was donated by the Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. We're going to arrange to have those book plates put into these books that are given out to the kids at Kalaheo Elementary. So that's kind of cool. We also talked a little bit about fundraising, and we'll come to the silent auction in just a moment. But a couple of things with regards to fundraising. Obviously, we're hopeful that we will actually be able to open up travel on October 15th. I think we've all seen a few fits and starts on this, so we all have to be realistic. But at the same time, I think there is going to be travel opening up at some point in the hopefully not too distant future that will allow people to come to the island without having to go through a 14-day quarantine. Given that, and given that there's very likely also to be fairly strong pent-up demand for travel, we think that it's a good time to bring back the Vacation for Donation fundraiser. And the requests of this are that we see if we can get some donation of a number of nights at one of the local hotels. Obviously, looking at the, I guess I'd say larger and more well-established ones would be important here. Any other donations that we can gather up. What we have normally provided is 7 nights in a hotel, airfare for 2 from a major location on the mainland. Well, I guess a major location, doesn't have to be on the mainland. Rental car, and then we had moved from, we used to give, I believe it was $500 in cash, we'd moved to gift certificates at various restaurants. And the one thing that we heard was, excuse me, some of them we had $200 gift certificates, and people said, it's hard to spend $200 on a single meal when you can't cover liquor. And of course, Ruth's Chris is closed, so there goes that idea. But so if we can get some smaller gift certificates, even in the $100 range, that's a nice thing. And of course, having folks donate those is always good. And then we'll need someone who will coordinate the actual sales process. And the one request that was put out and that was resoundingly agreed to by the board was that if we're going to do this, we do this all as electronic ticket sales instead of doing any printed tickets. It also saves a lot of hassle. I know in the past when we've gone to print tickets, what should, in my mind, take a couple days ends up taking a month and a half. So, you know, we can make things a lot more efficient. In the past, we have managed to raise anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 out of this fundraiser every year. And that's after we pay for all the expenses of the vacation and such. So it's a good opportunity for us to do something that, like I said, I think it's going to hit the idea of people wanting to travel, but also it's a fairly low impact activity for us. So I think it's a nice one. If anyone is interested in doing any of this, going out and soliciting donations, organizing the tickets, whatever, please do let me know and we will get you all together on that. The other thing I will also say, in past years, we always said, well, we want to have the drawing by before Christmas, because then we want to kick off the sales of One Fine Evening tickets before Christmas as well, so that people could give those as Christmas gifts. And we decided that we kind of needed to accept the reality of the current world and acknowledge that One Fine Evening 2021 is not likely to happen. So we're planning for a One Fine Evening event, the big fundraiser at Kilohana for 2022. So this will be the Vacation for Donation would be our large fundraiser. We do have our online auction coming up, and Ron, I'm going to ask you to talk to that in just a few. But the other thought that we had was to do some smaller fundraisers. And one of the ones, I actually just got this one from, excuse me, from the Eco Club, which is the newest club in our district. They're doing a contest around World Polio Day. And each club you can either sponsor one person for $25 or a team of 4 for $125. And they're doing the 4-way test in Pidgin and the funniest interpretation of the 4-way test. So this will be acting it out and costumes and all sorts of things like that. And they're giving all the money to end polio. So, you know, things like that are always a good idea. And one of the thoughts that we had was to do something at Warehouse 3540. Wherein we got food truck vendors involved so that we could, you know, maybe give out tickets upon admission that got you something at each one of the food trucks, and then obviously having people go through the stores. So this is something we're going to talk to the folks there about. And again, if anyone has ideas about any sort of smaller fundraiser that we can do like that, please do let us know. Actually, I say that, and one that I remember that keeps coming up in my head is, the Chinese restaurant in Lahui, in Hokulea Village. Fast food Chinese.
Panda Express.
Panda Express.
Panda Express. Panda Express, thank you. They have a program where they are willing to have an organization sponsor a day there. And if you go in and you say, I came because of the Rotary Club of Puipu Beach, they will donate a percentage of the profits to the Rotary Club. And I mean, even if we just do a pauhana there and a bunch of us descend on them and have dinner and then leave, I think something like that could be nice. So that's something that I can follow up with them about and see what the process is to go through. But again, if you have any ideas, please do feel very free to speak up. Ron, if I could ask you to give us a quick update on the silent auction.
Yeah, we're moving for a go live date of either the 3rd or 4th week of October. And that's based on a software issue with the company that we're going to be using. We can actually do it now, but they will not have the ability for us to attach additional fees once the sale is complete, such as shipping charges, that type of thing. They've told me that it will be in their next software build, which should come in about the 2nd week of October. So by the 3rd week of October, we should be ready. But I'm following up on that with them weekly. The online auction will be non-certificate items. The certificates that we receive will not be a part of this auction unless the business indicates, yes, absolutely, go ahead and put it on. And I think the only one that we have a confirmation on that is with the zipline company. The rest of them will be items that will more than likely just be sold here on the island, although it'll be a website that we'll publish so anyone can actually bid on it, but there will be items that we will declare on island only just because of either the size or the weight. One of the concerns the committee has, we've talked about, is the shipping issue and the care and correct packing of something that has to be sent. The one thing we don't want is that a painting or something that is somewhat of a fragile nature arrives at their destination damaged. So that's something we have to talk about a little bit more. But right now we're on schedule, and I'll keep the club updated weekly if as things progress.
Awesome. And thanks to Ron and the team around that for, and Anne's cat, for getting things going on the auction. The other one, there is another gift certificate that will be included in this, and that is for the safari in South Africa. And we can actually sell 2 of those. So if you want to go, it's kind of a nice option. And from what I've seen, the John and Monica Ozutz from the Hanalei Club, they went a couple years ago and they were extremely pleased with it and very happy with the accommodations and everything as well. Ted, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on for Rural Polio Day at the district level?
The district will be having an online event on October 24th. This year, that's on a Saturday. That's World Polio Day. And it will be 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And there will be live local entertainment. There'll be a polio survivor speak. There'll be some honoring of Hawaii medical professionals who are treating COVID-19, and some discussion about the linkage of infrastructure between Polio Plus and how that can be used to fight other diseases like COVID-19. There will also be a custom designed t-shirt for sale that is unique to Hawaii and supporting World Polio Day. I think those are going to be $25, and there'll be more information coming out about how to order those. And there will also be a district-wide online silent auction. I haven't yet seen the details of that. Also on our island, David Lister from the radio station Star 94.3, who's a member of Rotary Club of Kauai, has generously offered for us to have another Rotary Radio Day on his station all day on October 24th. And he will do pre-recorded interviews with the presidents of all the clubs around the islands that he'll be playing throughout the day, and also offering for each of our clubs, anybody that we can get to donate $100 for World Polio Day that day, he will run a radio ad for them during that day. So the $100 would come and stay with our club, but whoever makes that donation, whether they're in Rotary or not in Rotary, would get some radio advertising that day as well.
Like Ted said, we did a Rotary Radio Day last year. Ted and I both went and did the pre-recording of the little speeches and stuff, and it was really kind of fun to be in the studio. David makes it fun and easy, and if anyone is certainly looking at a way of promoting their business or knows someone else who would want to promote their own business, because like Ted said, it doesn't have to be a Rotarian, it can be anyone. The ads are, they ask for $100, and then whoops, Star is not keeping any of that money. That is all coming back to the clubs. So it's a much appreciated thing that we can do there. Any other announcements from anyone?
Rick, did the board make a decision about the culinary scholarships?
Yes, we're moving forward with those. Yeah.
Okay, I'll contact Dwayne then.
Okay. All righty. Well, we have a speaker that is very exciting today. She is the newest member of our club until next week. But see, isn't it nice, Ann? It's like being the youngest person the newest person at a company. It doesn't last long, which is kind of cool. That's always a good sign. So Ann Tremain is going to tell us a little bit about her life, her career, and all that goodness. So Ann, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So I've been asked to speak to you guys today about my life on Kauai and the type of work that I do. And I haven't met everybody here that's on the call, so for anybody that haven't actually had a chance to sit down and talk to or have a conversation with, I hope to do that soon with all of you. I moved to Kauai in 2015 on Halloween, and I came here as a sole proprietor, business owner of In Blooms by Ann. That company is still in existence, but it's on hiatus along with many other companies right now. I'm a wholesale florist, so I procure different types of flowers and ship them across the country. Most of it on refrigerated truck, most of it originating out of California, and 99% of it has nothing to do with roses. So it's hydrangeas and dahlias and unique specialty kind of flowers, not something that you're just generally going to find at the grocery store. So specialty items. I've been doing this since 1992 and have had my own company since about 2002. It's been a long time. So when I moved to Kauai, I was just kind of, visited here in 1979 with my parents. My dad worked for Pan American Airlines. We spent 3 weeks on Kauai. We were a camping and water skiing family, and I begged my parents at the age of 14, Kauai is where we need to be living. Can we sell our house in California and move to Kauai? Because real estate was really cheap. And the funny thing is, I remember checking out real estate prices when I was 14 years old. So I kind of had an idea of what the market was like and what it was like in California, in comparison. Anyway, so it wasn't until I was 51 years old that I actually got to bring that dream of mine to fruition. My son was long since been in college and moved on. And, with the type of work that I've been doing remotely, I could really move anywhere in the world. And, Kauai was number one on the list of places that I thought I might just fit in. So that's kind of how I got here. And kind of just so you know, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, done by 10 o'clock in the morning. I have this unfortunate side of me that there is a type A personality buried beneath all the laid back. And I was really just, since I've been here, looking for something that was going to fill up the other part of my day. Although I love long walks with my golden retriever and, enjoy the sunshine, I just felt like there was more that I could do, more that I wanted to do. So I was here for about 18 months, just kind of, doing my job and enjoying the sunshine. And one day I met a man on the beach, was introduced to me by someone else with a golden retriever, who was a canoe paddler. And I ended up joining a canoe club and started hanging out with Neil Zaslow. And as the story goes, we were a good fit. And so we got married in March of this year. There was a period of time, there was a 2-year period of time where I swear, living on Kauai, I felt like I just moved to summer camp because I was selling flowers in the morning and then playing tennis for 3 or 4 hours and then jumping in a truck and helping mow yards on a big lawnmower, a driving lawnmower. And then I would end my day paddling. So for a period of time, I just thought, boy, this is like summer camp, I just am so happy that I moved to Kauai. Along the way, my husband, by the way, is a real estate broker. He's been here on the island since 1976. And every person I think he knows that I've been introduced to was a realtor. I think there's about 699 realtors on the island of Kauai. So anyway, he mentioned to me, other people have mentioned to me along the way that it might be something good for me. My background prior to flowers, my first job was working for Bank of America, and I was a loan processor. And then I was actually a collector for their boat loans, second mortgage loans, airplane loans, believe it or not. And so I was really comfortable with contracts, really comfortable kind of from the beginning, just knowing, kind of how to kind of navigate through a contract. It wasn't hard. I guess another fun fact is that I bought 2 homes in California and I didn't use a realtor. I actually did it myself. So it was just something that, along my life, it's been mentioned to me a few times, and I just thought, I've been selling, millions of dollars worth of flowers. I don't think I want to sell another thing. So it took a while for me to really get to the point where, I wanted to embark on the real estate venture. I went to about a year of CE classes before I decided to get my license. And, it wasn't something that I was totally hot for, from the beginning. Now, last year, there's been a shift in the floral industry where 6 of my major producers of flowers have stopped growing flowers and started growing pot. So there was a dwindling of the supply of these specialty flowers that's happening in California right now. And so it really went from, do I want to do something else to, what, I really need to. I need to have another something just to kind of make sure that, finances are good. And so there was a necessity. There was a necessity for me to find something else. I still was kind of lukewarm with real estate. And then COVID happened. I got my license in December I had surgery in January. So really February, the month of February, I think almost every day I was holding an open house somewhere on the island. And just in that short period of time, you know, it really opened up my life in a way that I wasn't expecting, because I had worked from home remotely for so many years. And my contact has always been, you know, over the phone or, you know, emails. I didn't realize how out of touch I was with actually dealing with people face to face in doing a job and having a job. And I started realizing how much I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I met so many people. Up until that point, I'd only met realtors or loan processors or other people that are working behind the scenes, but actually working with customers again, face to face, turned out to be something enjoyable for me. So, you know, COVID happened and my special events companies are all on hiatus pretty much. Nothing was really happening for me. I've been dealing with, you know, about 6 core customers and about 50 other people that I'm in contact with, but, you know, written 3 or 4 contracts, no sales have gone through. So really nothing is happening for me in real estate yet. And Ted said, hey, would you like to talk to us about being a realtor on Kauai about 3 weeks ago? And I said, I'm not really sure I'm qualified. You know, I really haven't produced anything yet and nothing is really happening yet. So I was a little reluctant. And also just, you know, having a sad story, you know, the business that I've been in for, you know, the last 20 plus years is not producing. So I just felt a little apprehensive about coming here today and talking to everybody. But he encouraged me, and you know, I was planning on it. As the story goes, you know, behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot of advertising, a lot of reaching out to people, a lot of connecting with people that Neil knows, and just so happened that one of Neil's friends had property on the North Shore, and I said, their property's been withdrawn. I want to ask them if they would let us, you know, represent them as a team. So Neil and I decided to kind of team together. I work for Kauai Realty, interviewed with Kauai Realty now, you know, back in December, and actually interviewed with a lot of different companies on the island, and I really liked them. They're the oldest company on the island, and they are just, it's like walking into a bank. I felt like I was walking into a bank again, because there was someone actually typing on a typewriter. And I thought, I could do this, you know? I'm not all into this I'm not immersed in technology yet, you know? My business has been run by picking up the phone and, you know, sending an email. So I really like the vibe of Kauai Realty, and they have been really wonderful with me and have taught me a lot and have shared a lot of their experiences with me. The combination of bringing Neil and I together, I just thought it was smart. I thought, you know, Neil is kind of old school and has been doing it for a long time, but he's pretty much, you know, on call. If someone calls Neil, he'll help them, you know, with a transaction or something, but he's not, you know, entirely into being out there as a full-time realtor. So I thought the combination was good. Neil and I teamed up together, and anyway, to make a long story short, I started talking to some of Neil's people that he knows, circle of influence. And it turns out that after a couple of no's from one particular couple, about 2 weeks ago, they called us up and said, hey, would you like to list our property? Which we were talking a little earlier this morning, it's 28 acres in the hillsides of Hawaii. And it is 360-degree panoramic views, South Shore all the way to Niihau. It's spectacular. And that is just in the last 2 weeks. We also have another listing that was Neil's that we've been kind of working on and reintroduced to the market. And, you know, I'm excited. You know, I'm excited about my life here on Kauai. It is more than I could have ever imagined. And this kind of reinventing myself has been amazing. My son, who's 31 years old, you know, it's amazing to have your son tell you he's impressed. That he's impressed that I can, you know, help develop a website, and I'm learning these programs and becoming, you know, present on social media and doing all these things that are really uncomfortable to me. You know, it makes me feel good. And let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You know, joining Rotary, you know, that is something that I've always wanted to do, some type of volunteer work, some kind of public service in some way. And joining Rotary just has really made a big difference for me too. I feel like, you know, as years go on, I hope to be, you know, an important part of, you know, spreading your message and, you know, helping out in the community. So that's, you know, been another thing. I will tell you this, one of the things I love about doing real estate, and something that I've been doing my whole life, and that is helping people get what they want. And, you know, you might think, oh, well, flowers, it's so easy. A lot of times people want something specific and maybe that's not available. Okay, so maybe is it the color that you want, or is it the structure that you want, or what is it that you want? You know, what is it that the bride is trying to communicate at her wedding, or what, you know, what is the sentiment behind lots of different things. So real estate is kind of the same for me. I try to figure out what's motivating, you know, the client. What do they want? Are they trying to move here forever, or do they just want, you know, a investment property? And what does it look like to them? You know, I'm a very visual person, so having the opportunity to sit down with people now via Zoom, which is great, and just have conversations about what it is, you know, who they are, what it is that what they envision. You know, that's been a great thing. Anyway, I don't know really what else to say, but I really appreciate you all being here, being present, and inviting me to speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann. Does anyone have questions for her? Greg.
I have a question. So, Ann, in your floral business, did you have a set crew employees, or were you contracting the arrangements out? How did you do that?
So what it is no, I don't have a crew. I am a sole proprietor, independent contractor. Okay. So what I would do is I contact wholesale and retail and special events companies across the country in the morning, early in the morning, and I ask them what they're looking for. And then once I get that list, then I had about 25 different farms in California mostly that grow these products. So I would then just take the order from the customer and send it to the farm, whichever farm I choose. Now, in California, there might be, 10 farms that grow dahlias, but, I know that depending on the time of year, what region of California has the best ones and who the top growers are. So it's kind of a navigation of different farms to choose from. So I don't have any employees. I've never had any employees. It's all taking the orders and then sending it to several farms or one farm. So it would be like a floral broker, I guess, if you would.
So there was no arrangement, flower arrangement type
Oh,
person.
no, these are all bulk flowers.
Okay.
So everything that I sell is in anywhere from 7 to 10 stem bunches to growers bunches, which have more like 15 stems. They're in boxes which are about 48 by 20 by 6, and they weigh about 30 pounds. And they are, carefully packed and then shipped on refrigerated trucks for the most part. I do have my special events companies. Actually, most of them all go FedEx. And so it's the same deal. It's about a 30-pound box on FedEx, or multiple boxes, depending on the client.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Ann, do you know, as the growers have all these flowers and there's not as much demand, do you know what's happening? What are they doing with the flowers?
They're mowing the fields down in a lot of cases.
Wow.
This morning, so another part is, over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting some phone calls. I haven't been getting up at 3 a.m. because there was no one to talk to, and my phone started ringing, and I was like, oh my gosh. So, I've got a couple people that are starting to do a few events, and it's in Michigan and Minneapolis, Minnesota. There is some event work going on there. The growers, on the other hand, I just heard that another grower, he's not completely going out of business, but he's going to grow one thing instead of 15. He's going to grow snapdragons, and he's going to grow pot. And they're in the Carpinteria area. That's where a lot of my farms are. So there's many small farms, little guys that just grew a few things that are completely done. They couldn't have people out there picking the flowers. So I think it's going to take a few years for the floral industry to reinvent itself as well. I think it's going to be a long process. So flowers will be something that I'll always, if the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be there. But for the most part, I think my business is going to be on hiatus until sometime in 2022, if not farther. It just depends, depends on the rest of the country.
I love the story of your reinvention. I think it's really kind of cool. And the way that you talked about, knowing what someone wanted from the flowers, because it's not necessarily, in some cases, it's not about the flower, it's about what they're trying to say, and interpreting that into homes, I think is really kind of cool. Because I'd say that every one of us who has bought a house, there's been a point you've walked into a house and went, yep, this is the one. And there's nothing, in a lot of cases, there's not words you can put around it. It's just, it. And it's the same sort of thing. Yeah. Other questions? Okay, well, thanks, Ann. I like the story. I think it's pretty neat, and we're glad you moved to Kauai too. Even as a 14-year-old, you knew what you wanted. And actually, our story as to how we ended up here was, I'm kind of a real estate geek. I always look at real estate, and I saw houses in Kalaheo, and I was like, just want to drive by those. That's all. Just want to see it. And lo and behold, here we are. So it definitely can happen. It's pretty neat. Interestingly, while I was while we were doing this, I did get an email from Claude Thompson. You might recall that Claude and Leela are working with someone who is building a house in the LA subdivision that Habitat is dealing with. And we were going to do some work projects with them. And Claude sent me something saying that they're saying that the month of October is pretty much open in terms of volunteer opportunities. So we can pick a few dates. So given that we have the 24th already for World Polio Day, the radio days and everything, it seems like that Saturday is kind of taken up. So I was looking at probably proposing the 10th and the 17th. Does anyone have thoughts on other options around that? And this, by the way, this project would be, we do what they tell us to do. We don't, we're not going to know what it is that we're getting ourselves into. Kind of exciting and fun all at the same time.
Rick, just as a FYI, on the 10th, the district has a polio webinar from 10 to 11:30.
Okay. So the 17th?
17th, good.
Okay, how about the 17th and the 31st would be Halloween. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know what Halloween's going to be like this year. It's going to be an interesting one. The CDC said put candy out for kids, and I'm just seeing a bunch of cockroaches walking around with Reese's peanut butter cups on their backs here. So I'll propose the 17th, and if they say yay, then we'll go with that. If they say that that's kind of a problem, then we can look at alternative dates. Anything from anyone else, or I'll let you go early. This is just like a real Zoom meeting where I get to let you go early. Look at that. All right. Well, just a couple updates, Waylon. You are very likely, I'm going to say, going to be inducted at our next meeting coming up, which will be on, I believe it's October 14th. Joycelyn, thanks for joining us, and we hope you join us again. And yeah, Anne, thanks so much for telling us a little bit about you and your life, and your 28 acres. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. 20.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey.